From an entire continent to a slew of bosses, old school RuneScape has expanded the world of Gielinor a lot over its decade-long life, and I'm here to see all of it. From a fresh main account, we're gonna complete every quest, and fight every boss, and hopefully get rich while doing so. This is Building a Main, Old School Edition. Last episode, we progressed our way through the medium diaries, and naturally, that didn't happen overnight. So in today's episode, we're going to do a dive into what else we were getting up to while working on them, notably upgrading the combat stats and gear of the account. Before we get to that though, we're going to be live on Twitch 1 hour after the episode airs, putting the gear we're about to show off to some good use. If you want to join us, the link's in the description below. So first up, how did we make the money? Simply put, herb runs and birdhouse runs. Between the two of these, growing ranars and just selling off the crushed nests, we made about 200k profit, give or take, every time we did one of these runs. I was doing 3 runs a day in line with the charges of the teleport items that we got from the early diaries, and considering I was doing this for about 10 days while doing the diaries, we made about 6 mil. So keep that figure in mind as we go through buying some of the upgrades. The first upgrade to discuss is Proselyte Armor. I already mentioned this last time, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it's just the best prayer bonus armor that I have access to, so whenever I need to pray a protection prayer during a Slayer task, I wear this. Continuing on with the theme of Slayer, we picked up a black mask for about 750k. This thing gives a 16.67% attack and strength bonus against all enemies on a Slayer task. And on the note of strength bonus, we also picked up the Obsidian Plate Legs for about 750k, as well as the Dragon Boots for about 150k. The Obsidian Plate Legs are kind of minor, they only give +1 strength bonus, but it's still the best in slot that I can wear right now. And the Dragon Boots give a whopping +4, which is an entire max hit. And now for the big purchase. Benefiting all 3 styles is the Amulet of Fury, which we picked up for just shy of 2 mil. We're going to be using this amulet for quite a while, basically until we get access to Zenyte jewelry and the occult necklace for magic. And once we hit 70 attack, we immediately upgraded to an Abyssal Whip. This costs 1.4 mil, but is insanely worth it and is a huge upgrade over the DSIM. Basically, the only downside the whip has is that it can't train strength. To get started on our magic upgrades, we headed up to the top of the wilderness to take on Mage Arena 1. This just involves killing Collodion a bunch of times over and over again in the Mage Arena, which is in the wilderness so you can be killed, so don't take your entire stack of runes, but pray magic and you take no damage, so it's basically trivial. Your reward for doing so is 1 or more of the original God Capes. These have a healthy magic attack and defense bonus, and you also get a God Staff, which, as far as I can tell, there's not really much importance to which one you get. Maybe one of you guys know a good use for one of the God Staves. In RS3, the Guthic Staff actually has a spec that increases your hit rate against the target. Otherwise, we also picked up a full set of Dusk Mystic Robes. Now, I know these are the more expensive Mystic Robes, and if I was being really frugal, I should have bought Dark Mystic or something. But I saw the Dusk Mystic and was like, yes, that's a color scheme, so I went for it. And finally, Ranged. Ranged appears to be the style that is a pain to train, but is quite potent in the mid-game. So I was finding any excuse I could to use Range on a Slayer task, and when I got Black Demons, I knew it was time to safe spot them for like 2 hours. But before I went and did that, I first needed to head over to the Nightmare Zone. The goal here? Imbue our Black Mask. Imbuing the Black Mask causes it to also boost range and magic, not quite as much as melee, but basically the same. This imbue also carries over to the Slayer helmet and kind of makes it work like a full Slayer helmet in RS3, because instead of imbuing the Black Mask over there, we have a focus sight for ranged and a hex crest for magic. The wiki has a pretty good write-up of the strategy here, but the TLDR of it is that you go into a hard rumble, enable all the bosses that just do dumb melees, and go in with a full prayer setup and pray melee. It's pretty AFK, decent XP, and once you get enough points, you can imbue your Black Mask. You can also spend points on absorption potions, which are insanely powerful in here because you use something like a rock cake to reduce your health to 1, so mobs can only ever hit you up to a 1. This means every dose of absorption potion protects you from 50 non-misses. And in terms of GP, it's basically free other than the renting cost of the zone itself. So I swapped over to using absorption potions once I could afford them to save on prayer pot costs. However, if you just want to get the Black Mask imbued as quick as possible, then using the prayer setup is probably the way to go. Next up, I want to get 52 prayer so that we get up to the prayer restoration bracket where prayer pot doses are giving us 20 per dose. And for that, we're going to need 550 baby dragon bones. And before any of you jump at my neck for using these on a player-owned house altar instead of going into the wildy and using them on the chaos altar, I was being a wimp. I'll do better next time. Anyway, getting back to the Slayer, I've actually been really enjoying doing Konar tasks because mobs drop these brimstone keys based on their combat level, and sometimes you get some great stuff early on. Like here, we got 2 keys and got an extra 100k in loot. Considering a lot of the mobs we're killing right now don't actually drop much loot, this is helping pay for supplies. With melee in a pretty good spot stat-wise and gear-wise, it was time to focus more on the other 2 styles. And this meant that I was spending most of my AFK time training ranged ammonite crabs. A little tip for ammonite crabs is to bring a ring of wealth imbued because it will automatically pick up all the numulate. And while individually they're not that expensive, they drop enough of it that it adds up and sells for a few 100k over the course of training ranged here. I know a lot of people hate Black Demon tasks, but so far they've been pretty good early range training, and they drop a bunch of brimstone keys because they're stupid high combat level, so I'm more than happy to keep doing them. And of course, unlocking bigger and better as our first Slayer unlock for the superior chance. And now for one of the biggest decisions in your ranged life. What god d'hide do you use? And thank God for High Elk, because it allows us to train magic at decent XP rates, while also being quite profitable. And the goal here is to get up to 70 magic. However, the goal we reached first was 75 range. And 75 range is a big one because it gives us access to one of the most overpowered mid-tier weapons in the game, in the Toxic Blowpipe. This thing costs 2.2 mil to buy, but dear God is it worth it. And while alking, we got up to 70 magic, which is a really, really big level in that it gives us access to the Occult Necklace. This is a stupidly cheap necklace, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, that gives you a 10% boost to your magic damage. Now, it costs about 500k, gonna leave that into slow buy, but that is easily the biggest upgrade for any single style we're gonna be buying, except maybe the blowpipe itself. The first place we took the blowpipe for a spin was the fight caves, and we actually have a couple more items bought here that I failed to record. One being Ceridome and d'hide boots. Now these are way more expensive than the other pieces of God d'hide because they compete with Ranger boots. However, they complete our Ceridome and d'hide set as well as being a nice upgrade over the snakeskin boots we were using before. The other item we bought is the Brimstone Ring, and the way to think about this is if all 4 of the DK rings were combined into one. The catch, you can't imbue it. All the DK rings can be imbued to double their stats. You can't do this with the Brimstone Ring, but for now it's basically like buying all 4 of the individual DK rings and just using the best one for the current style. But we will want to eventually get the imbued Dagannoth King rings in the future. As for how I dealt with the fight caves, I just stuck to the rock in the southwest corner of the area because it causes all of the mobs that are more than 1 by 1 to get stuck on the corner. So this is great for dealing with all the melee mobs, but the main issue you're going to run into consistently is that you can get hit by both the mage and ranger at the same time. My advice here is to pray magic and kill the ranger. The ranger is a lot quicker to kill than the mage, and the mage does a lot more damage. Overall, our first attempt at the fight caves went really well, and we went into Jad with a healthy amount of supplies. However, unfortunately, this run was not to be. And there's actually quite a bit to unpack with this death, so let's run through it. The first issue I ran into is that I actually found it quite hard to see the healers against this floor. I'm not sure if this is an issue with the HD plugin or anything, but that healer there is really hard to see, and I didn't notice they spawned until Jad was getting healed, which immediately put me into a bit of a panic state. So then, once I'd picked up the first 3 healers, I start going, okay, where's the 4th? And I'm running, misclick my prayer, and the 4th healer was already safe spotted, no. Now, I'm not even sure if the misclick mattered or not. I think I may have been too late, even if I had successfully clicked pray range. This is because, unlike in RS3 where your prayer is checked at the point you get hit by the projectile, you have to be praying the correct thing as soon as the projectile spawns in old school. No matter though, we brush ourselves off and go again with a couple lessons learned. The The first of those lessons is prayer timing. It's different to RS3, now I know what it is, now it shouldn't catch me out again. As for the second lesson, I now know that I struggle to see the healers in this fight, so I can use Rune Light to actually highlight around them so that I can see them properly. As for supplies, it went mostly the same as the first. I made some mistakes to rushing, and I also did some things better. But the place I really needed to do better was Jad himself.
Something's wrong, I feel it circling like vultures around my brain. Couldn't see the danger in your eyes. Draw me in, got me spinning now like water to a drain. You were perfect till I realized you hadn't shown your face. You sing a pretty song to drag my heart along. A siren serenade, you're ringing out to pray. Your love's a wreck and you know it's wrong. I was deaf to the ringing bells, wanting me to break, deafened by the siren.
That's range, there we go. I think I tanked a hit from him at some point. There we go. I definitely got chanced at some point there if I got a near miss. But there we go. We finally got a fire cape. Inferno when? After you do it, Dark. Yeah, I definitely got chanced once. We'll say it was for the CA. Okay, next up on the list, Slayer. We actually have a Rex Slayer task, or at least a task I want to do at Rex. There's one standout piece that doesn't really fit, which we'll be fixing hopefully on Friday when we go get a torso. But for now, I want my mage gear. That's definitely not enough casts. So it turns out when you go safe spot Rex, you actually want to wear your best tank gear, because Rex has no mage level, so it's super easy to hit, and you don't need magic accuracy. The reason for the defensive gear is because the thing that determines how long you're going to stay there is actually the spinner lips, not Rex himself. Yeah, they definitely wreck. Spinners never go unaggressive. Okay. That just accidentally happened in RS3 and they never fixed it. That'll probably be the thing to cut my trip short then. Bring better food, less antidotes, or bring guffins to heal. I'm assuming you just attack the spinner lips between Rex spawns and heal off them. Sounds like a good idea. Or bring a Sang Staff? One of those suggestions costs less than $1 mil. And I am not offering prizes for guessing which one. Oh wait, I can't even look at the combat achievements because I'm in combat. I've only killed like 5 Rex so far. I am definitely not doing the whole task like this. It will take like 4 hours. Can't I hop worlds between 2? No, I can't hop worlds in combat. So as long as a spinner has attacked me in the last 10 seconds, I can't hop. Ooh, on a Slayer task, our max is a 31. That is beautiful. I'm assuming there's a Bastion potion, but for magic. It's the ones that are maging me. They're just hitting like dump trucks. No. Oh, that was close. Hitting over 30s already feels good. Like, really good. I've still got a lot of work to do on the combat stats. Like, I'd ideally like to see base 80s in the next few weeks from Slayer. Yeah, when you get Slayer like set up really nice, I guess there's no prefer list in old school. But when you get it like all set up, you're not doing any tasks you hate, you're just seeing tasks you like over and over again, it's just super chill. One of my favorite RS3 streams, or like, well, this was actually almost like a week of streams, was when we had that double XP leading up to Necro, and I was just doing Slayer all week. So yeah, I'm probably gonna make a lot of my money from Slayer. Oh yeah, I've also got a I've got an elite clue that requires 65 Slayer because I have a step to kill a Dust Devil. Dagonoff Rex Champion, another CA. We're knocking them all out today. I can actually go and get the easy rewards from the combat tasks now. Daily teleports to the God Wars dungeon entrance. I'm not sure whether or not to invest in a cannon at this point. The tasks don't really make me enough money, but at the same time, getting through the tasks a lot quicker gets me to the money quicker. Oh, each one of these bones is 10k, so that's already like 100k in bones. It's not bad. Yeah, I definitely didn't need 3 antidotes. 1 would have sufficed. And I could have brought 2 more food. Yeah, the spawn timer here is what's gonna probably just, once we're done with this trip, I'll probably just do the rest of the task on like the Dagonoffs at the entrance. At first I was like, if this takes like 2 hours or like 2 to 3 hours, maybe. But I think it's gonna take like 4 to 5 if I do it just at Rex. It's still good money prospects, I can't deny that much. So what Slayer level should I be working on? Like, it's always good to have a goal in mind instead of just blindly doing something. 75? For gargoyles? Yeah. So I need 72 Slayer for the hard diaries. And for the quest cape, I need 69 Slayer. So 72 Slayer gets me quest cape and hard diaries. So yeah, 75 seems like a pretty good goal. Oh, come on. A level goal? Really? We can do better than that. And if you want to see what we're up to, then you can join us over on Twitch 1 hour after the episode goes live. Otherwise, you can catch it in the dedicated Slayer episode coming soon. On the note of episodes, we're actually dialing back the upload frequency back to once a week. I wanted to do twice a week to help the series catch up with live content so there wasn't as big a disparity, but that's now complete and some grinds in old school do just take their time, so we're going to be going at 1 episode a week just to give myself plenty of time to get some content. Otherwise, for now, that's going to be the end of the episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. If so, you know what to do, and I'll catch you again next time.